Ready to Dustin's vinyl. That's my main man, Anthony Kapfer on the axe.
Hey.
We have the coolest intro in all of podcasting because we have a live guy doing it. That's how cool we are.
Yeah, who else has that?
Everybody else, licensed music, whatever, something that somebody made on their Yamaha keyboard. But we have a live dude every week playing it live. He can do whatever he wants. He can switch it up. He can play a banjo. We got it live, man. See, we don't know what that is, but we're enjoying it because it's live. It's real. That's right. We're live today. We've been doing a lot of pre-recorded shows, so anything could happen today. We don't know what's going on.
Who knows?
Dustin's vinyl. It's a
we might get into an argument.
I don't call them arguments. I call them just like, family stuff, I think when you spend a long enough time around people, it's like you morph into this family relationship. But it's like, you know what I mean? Where you just love, like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you guys bug me, but I'd still help you get out of jail. You know what I mean? Like I'm still.
If I called you up, you'd come bail me out?
Yeah, I'm a moody bitch, but I got you back. I'm the guy. I help you bury a body. You know what I mean? Like I'm still that guy. I might be like, don't interrupt me, but I'll still show up when you need a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all that matters in the end. You know what I mean? Crankiness.
And me too. I might get in the face of a guy who's
you'd help bury a body. I think you would
boxer.
panic a lot, but I think eventually I could talk you into it. Be like, dude, we got to bury this body. I don't know.
I'd probably freak out about burying a body.
Yeah.
But
as you should. That's not something that is normal.
But I'd think about it.
You think
depends on the body and if they deserved what they got.
Yeah. All right. This show's gonna get us like on a list and be like, these two are killing people. Well, the one guy is, and the other guy's getting talked into it.
I can be persuaded.
Good. Anyway, woo! All right, cool. Do you have a good weekend? Rock and roll.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I started playing in a band.
Oh wow!
Playing drums in a band.
Like a in-person band.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a punk rock band.
I bet that feels good to just be next to other people playing music.
Yeah. Well, we rehearsed last week, and I wore my mask for the whole thing.
Oh, that's not very punk rock.
No, I'm still adjusting to the idea because you go to these rehearsal spaces where other bands just came out. So you got all these strangers that are just breathing heavy for 2 hours or whatever.
But you've had COVID like 5 times already, right?
I keep getting it. Yeah, I don't want to get it anymore.
I'm done with you, COVID. Is that the name of your punk band, COVID? That'd be actually pretty cool.
It's dead
we
COVID.
Are COVID. But nobody gets us. It's weird. Okay. Very cool. Well, good luck. Do you have a name for the band? Or are you guys still searching for it?
The band's called Die Laughing.
Oh, yeah? All right. That's pretty cool. That's actually my T-shirt logo. It says Die Laughing.
I saw you put out something recently.
See how it goes? See how it goes, guys? See how we are? I inspire punk bands, everybody.
Well, I didn't name the band. That was it
was already Die Laughing. Is it comedy as well, or
no? I'm just playing drums. It's just a regular. I don't write the songs.
But I mean, Die Laughing. It's got to be a little humorous, right? Or
I don't think so. I'm not sure why this guy picked the name. There's some stuff on. It just came out. I don't play on the recording, but this thing came out on Friday.
Okay.
So there's like a.
So you're like the hired gun. You're like
songs.
You're gonna do the live shows and stuff.
Doing the live shows, and I think if we record some more stuff, I'll probably be on it.
Does it feel good to be on the drums again, or no? That was your first love?
Yeah, it's weird because it's been a couple of years since I have played drums with other people.
And how'd it feel?
It's good. I still got it. Every couple of years, I wonder if I still, because I started playing when I was in high school, played in like these kind of hardcore punk bands when I was like 18, and I had a lot of energy then. And now I'm like, damn, can I still play like that? And
I think you should go for it. Like, it's your side gig, just professional drummer. I love it.
Yeah,
because you got the build for it. You know what I mean?
I'm getting back in shape for it specifically, so that's helping me.
You got the Tommy Lee body. I've seen you with no clothes on. He's got a huge piece, guys.
I want to be in one of those cages like Tommy Lee.
His piece plays too, just like he's like.
Yeah. I do a drum solo with it.
There it is. That was his piece right there. Very cool.
How was your week?
That was good. I was in Arizona. I was the House of Comedy out there with TJ Miller, and we had a good time. It was hot, man. It was like 114 degrees at one point, and it's just a whole nother level. People bake brownies in their car, during the summer and stuff. They put like brownie mix in a tray, and then they come back out in their car, and there's like fresh brownies. Yeah.
Do they really?
They do. That's so weird. They put it on. They put Toll House cookies on the dashboard.
Wow.
And then the son cooks them, and then when they get in their car to go home from work, they have fresh cookies.
That's a pretty cool idea. I never thought about doing anything, because I've had like cups melt inside the car, like plastic cups, but I've never thought like, why don't I put some treats in there?
Just use it as an oven. Yeah. Just put like, I tried like a turkey, but that didn't work. It didn't get all the way down.
you need a little more time.
Yeah. Just a whole turkey on the dashboard. It was a little raw in the middle. I think I have salmonella, but it was a fun experiment. You know what I mean? It was good. So I went to, shows were great. Then I went to a record store out there, and our lovely co-host, Adam, told us that it was record store day, which is always fun.
Yeah.
And so I got a record store album.
Nice.
And Dream Queen, the Bobby Hamilton Quintet Unlimited. And I was a little familiar with Bobby Hamilton, but this is what sold me. This is, they have the thing on the little sticker thing that tells you about the album. And I thought this was the greatest thing ever. It says, spiritual jazz meets spiritual yearning. Pianist and songwriter Bobby Hamilton's magnum opus, his secret, his raw love letter to the music that didn't seem to love him back. Bernie Grubman, let's see, Bobby's last song, Master Tape. This is the best part on the end. It says, extensive linear notes tell Bobby's story of battling for deep jazz in the Pyreneaic, can't talk, polyester and cocaine 1970s. We hope music fans are ready to dream again. Texas Education, trying to read out loud. But this is a great album. It's very I don't like a lot of xylophone stuff or like keyboard, like keyboard stuff, but this somehow pulls it off, because I think it was just it's kind of when the cusp of jazz was kind of taking another direction. So a lot of people were doing kind of that fusion weird stuff, and this it's traditional stuff, but it's also kind of has some groovy, psychedelic sounds that are good. But anyway, it's a really great album from Todd.
What's the name of the band again?
It's the Bobby Hamilton Quintet Unlimited.
I want to check it out.
Dream Queen, very, very cool album. And so, and being that it's, it's June, which we discussed last week, it's African-American Music Month, which Jimmy Carter made that a thing. And then, President Obama also was endorsing it as well. And so, there's no music without African-American music. I mean, as far as rock and roll and everything else, if without black people, it would just be dudes on banjos and playing saws.
Yeah.
Square dancing music.
Banjo music and classical music, and that's all you got.
Yeah. It would just be boring music. And this is from my personal collection as well. And this is the Duke Ellington, John Coltrane. This is one of the greatest jazz albums ever. This is such a great album. We have John Coltrane on sax. We have Duke Ellington on piano. We have Jim Garrison on bass, Aaron Bell on bass, and Elvin Jones on drums, and Sam Woodward on drums. And this is a perfect jazz album. This is it's so good. I play this probably every other day. This is like one of those soothing, kind of beautiful, kind of get you in the good headspace jazz.
Yeah.
That's what we do. What do you got? You got the. I almost pulled that one, but I knew you had it, so I figured you'd pull it. Yeah.
This is the go-to. Everybody's got this. This is like the Fleetwood Mac rumors of jazz albums. But I listen to it all the time, so I wanted to get it on vinyl.
Tell us the name of that album.
Kind of Blue. Miles Davis. One of my favorite jazz albums. And I got this.
What else you got?
A little while back.
Yeah.
This is not jazz, but it's kind of like a throwback to sort of 70s kind of soul, but with a modern twist. It's her name's Lady Ray.
Lady Ray, I like it.
The album's called Piece of Me. It's really good. I heard it in a coffee shop.
Nice.
And I Shazammed it. And then we got the record. That's actually That's Amber's.
That
record.
is, a lot of people, it's like, I used to fight the Shazam thing. I say that's so corny. And then now I use it all the time. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, it's like sometimes on the radio, I'll be on GPS and then I'll unplug my phone and then let's try to get it off the radio and stuff. But yeah, it's a good way to find, music that you maybe kind of heard of, but you don't know who it is. And like, I get a lot of stuff out there.
It's so great.
I got a band this week, Dorothy, which I didn't realize how great Dorothy was.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
not familiar with Dorothy.
Well,
but it's great because you Shazam it and then it saves it for later, and you can open it up in Apple Music or Spotify or whatever you use, and then you don't have to remember.
As much as I'm a traditionalist, it's like there are some very cool tech ways to find new stuff, and besides just digging and being, look at this cover, I'll just try it. I do that a lot. I'll just find a cover and be like, that's a cool cover. I was kind of like with this Dream Queen. I was like, that's a cool cover. And then I got it.
And then
all right, let me bring in the other riff raff here on Dustin's Vinyl. Everybody, our other co-hosts, gentlemen, Mr. Adam Holtz and Jeffrey Paul, everybody. Oh, shit. Here we are. What's up, fellas?
How is everybody?
Everybody's excellent. We're just rocking the free world, Jeff. How are you doing? How was your week?
It was good, man. We just had a Father's Day on Sunday, so that was nice.
Oh, shit. Right. I forgot about that. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. And my son turned 21 yesterday. Mm-hmm. And right now, going on upstairs, he's having a party going on.
Wow. He's probably on Twitch, because that's our audience page.
Is he watching us right now? Happy 21st.
They're all hanging out just watching us talking about albums.
That'd be the lamest, most awesome thing ever. Right. just
Anthony,
listen.
are you wearing a Spuds MacKenzie shirt?
I'm wearing a Spuds MacKenzie t-shirt. I'm glad that you noticed.
I was about to say something. I'm glad you said something. That is a classic. That was the greatest commercial ever. I love those.
Yeah, I was a little kid, but I remember that. Like,
we're all little kids. Nobody was old when Spuds MacKenzie came out. Jeez Louise.
What was Spuds MacKenzie? Why was it a great commercial? I don't remember it.
I mean, Jeff was in grad school, but anyway,
the original party.
I just got married for the third time.
He was like the Taco Bell dog, but for Bud Light.
What did he do? I feel like a great commercial.
I think he surfed at one point. I don't know. He did he wore sunglasses. That was the main thing.
He was a pimp, man. He was like he always had chicks around him.
Yeah, he's just hanging out at parties.
I don't remember what he did.
He was a mascot. He didn't do. I mean, he did stuff in the commercial. He's a dog. I mean, he's a little limited, But
they didn't do CGI kind of stuff to make it.
Budweiser frogs. Yeah, I thought that was. I thought that was a good commercial.
He wasn't doing accounting or anything. He was just kind of sitting there, and they would feed him, and then have a couple of takes. And be like, "Hey, this is a funny, goofy dog, and everybody's going to buy our beer."
Jeff was like, "Yeah, but what did he do?"
Shit, look his balls, and think, "Hey, we got a coffee. We have a mascot."
And then there was a trend after that. It was Alex from Stroh's. That was a big. I don't remember that. It was the dog that could go to the Alex from Stroh's. That was the follow up kind of to Spuds MacKenzie, because he could. You remember Adam? He could go to the refrigerator. And he could get the beer. He got the beer. He actually did it. It was like one of those trained dogs that could open the door and
what's Stroh's?
It's a beer.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, I had never heard of Stroh's.
Well, I guess your families weren't alcoholics like mine. I know all the beers. I know every beer that ever existed. It was like Lowenbrow. I don't know. It was like an 80s beer. I don't know. It was like a thing.
Do you remember that Grolsch?
Grolsch? No. Grolsch.
Yeah.
I know what that is. Yeah.
It was an Irish beer. It was big in New Jersey.
Beer. Yeah. I like Killian's Red. That was my go-to.
I liked Miller High Life.
Of course you did.
That was I mean, I didn't really like it, but when I was at a bar and I had to pay for my own beers, that was the go-to beer.
That's a cheap beer. Natty Light, a little Natty Light.
Oh, Natty. That's the white trash beer.
Bad decision. Bush is the white trash beer.
And Rolling Rock is terrible. That's another cheap.
Rock is good.
Nah.
It's like the poor man's Heineken, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It was all right.
It's a domestic Heineken.
I like a red beer. Very cool. A lot of beer talk today. I like it.
Yep.
So how you doing, Adam? What are you up to? I hear you're in LA. What are you guys doing out here?
Yeah, so I'm over at in Anaheim right now at VidCon. I basically been working past 24 hours building out this big TikTok logo over at the convention center. So we got our LED panels in it. It's been a challenging project, but got it finished this morning, and
that's great.
Hopefully it's pretty well received.
So you're going to be the reason this thing never goes away. TikTok. You keep feeding the beast.
I just downloaded the app yesterday, and what's interesting is they were talking about how TikTok says their main competitor is Netflix. They don't really consider themselves a social media platform.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Not even YouTube, just Netflix.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean that makes a little bit of sense because I mean but this is what I don't like about TikTok. It's like the videos I love. I think it's funny videos, the dog stuff. I'm a sucker for animal videos.
Love the dog and cat stuff.
Except people that prank their animals. Like stop doing that. That drives me crazy. You know, when they put like poor cats. Okay, obviously cats don't like cucumbers. So how about not putting cucumbers behind cats and freaking them out? You know, stop putting on like masks and scaring your dog. You know, it's like stop. That just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't like.
But here's what it is though. Now it's like it's basically lip syncing to like voiceovers, and it's always the same for audio. You know, audio.
Yeah. Wait, what are the go-to songs?
It's not songs.
It changes. It's the way to go viral on TikTok is to use the trending audio. So there'll be a song that's there'll be like 5 songs that everybody's using for a few weeks. Gotcha. There'll be like a joke that everybody's lip syncing to. Yeah, that's how you go viral.
Yeah, it's weird. Or like a movie, a scene from a movie, you know, it'll be like a Godfather audio, and then somebody will be like, you know, acting like they're Godfather with their, you know, their iguana or something. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Wouldn't that competition be something like Reels?
I would have thought Reels and then YouTube, because you also can learn how to do a bunch of stuff on TikTok, and people used to use YouTube to learn how to do stuff.
But you can put TikTok on Reels, so I know it's not affiliated, but it all is kind of encompassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you can kind of work it.
My TikTok, I'm actually like restricted right now for violating their terms because I keep
a nip slip.
What were your terms? Oh, the fuck you, Simon.
No, well, not even that. Just whenever I upload my own videos, it's coming from streaming services. Like it's on streaming services, so it shows up as like a copyright strike, even though I have the copy. They're just like, somebody owns this, and so now I'm blocked from doing anything.
I thought it was like a Simon Cowell thing where they were just like,
but they wouldn't let me post that. Yeah, they kept muting it. Yeah. So that was,
or it was like TikTok is like, nope. I was like, that's a rough month.
I thought maybe he's wearing those shorts, a ball slipped out or something.
Right. Hey. Jeff really likes those shorts.
I had that song, Let's All Worship Satan, and that got blocked for hate speech, which I thought was weird. They were like, this is hate speech. And I was like, I don't understand how this is hate speech, but okay.
Yeah, I think that happens all the time, though. Apparently, in the thing, it says that happened on Twitch when I did my special, apparently. I guess my special was too edgy for them, I guess.
Wow.
Because I think they aired it after, and then I guess there were some problems.
Muted or something or blocked?
Yeah, just copyrighted my own jokes. That's my favorite. It's like, are you calling me a hack? They're like, yeah, that one joke's a little borderline. It sounds a little gaff again. You know, it's fine. I wrote it first. He's just famous.
I used to steal jokes. I still do, but I used to too.
Yeah, hilarious. All right, guys. Well, this is fun. We all chose albums with African American artists in mind for the month of June, being African American Music Month. So let's break it open with Adam Holtz. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. Well, I went with a very new album, an album that just came out Friday. It's an artist that we covered one of his albums. We actually covered his debut album a number of months ago. This is one of my most anticipated albums of this year. This is Bartees Strange, Farm to Table, his sophomore album. And I first started listening to Bartees Strange. I think it was 2020 when his debut album came out. It was on a lot of year-end lists. It became an album that I had in heavy rotation for a while. And so this album is his Farm to Table is basically talking about his roots from coming from Oklahoma and to getting a seat at the table and becoming this acclaimed indie artist. I think he's signed to I think it's 4AD, a label that had a lot of his favorite artists on it. And it's it's an album of artistic ambition. There's a lot of his album right before this, Live Forever, was very much a kind of defied a lot of genres. And he continues that with Farm to Table. I mean, this is really, it feels like a perfect continuation from his first album. But it's a it's a fascinating album. He's a black indie artist, and he talks a lot about how he it was tough for him to find a lot of bands that maybe bands like TV on the Radio or Block Party kind of inspired him to get into music. And this album is, I mean, it's an emotional album. It's an album that it's got, well, actually one of my favorite songs so far this year, Cosigns, an album which he jumps kind of between hip hop and kind of into like it's kind of tough to describe, but into a maybe like more of like an arena rock heavy sound towards the end. But in that album, he name checks his growing fame, where he talks about hanging out with Phoebe Bridgers and Lucy Dacus and Courtney Barnett and Justin Vernon. And actually, there's a couple songs like Black Gold which have a similar sound to Bon Iver. And there's also some songs that sound like The National, who's one of his favorite bands. Plus, there's some political songs. There's Hold the Line, which is about more like social songs. Hold the Line, which is about George Floyd from the perspective of his daughter. But this is a great album. It's one to definitely check out. It's Live Forever. When I first heard it, was an album that immediately I was kind of enthralled with. And this one has taken me a few listens to, but I think it's a worthy follow-up, and I'm really starting to enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought this was a great album. Obviously, I'm introduced to, this artist through you, that first album that we covered. Must have been a while ago, because I was trying to remember when we actually covered it. But
it was before me.
Yeah, it was before you. Everything was before you, Anthony. We covered so much before you. But it's great. I felt like this is, a guy that can do anything. It was like you said, it was a lot of different genres and things happening in the music. I thought it was great. I enjoyed kind of the full listen. It was somebody, I wasn't familiar with that much, but I enjoyed the listen. I didn't skip songs. I kind of let everything go through. And I thought it was good. It was fresh. It was definitely something I haven't heard before. And I definitely want to seek this out. I would like to buy this on vinyl. Like, I feel like it's just a cool, interesting album. It's like it's a little bit for everybody, which is, my favorite, when you can kind of like do all kinds of genres. But I thought it was great. I thought it was, very good listen. Anthony, how'd you feel about it?
I thought it was fine. Nothing. I didn't dislike it. I think it's it's like I could see putting this on in the background and just kind of hanging out. But my mistake, I think, was I put it on immediately after Jeff's pick, and it was hard to follow. We'll get it to his at some point, but I think that was the main problem. Is I put it on minutes after.
Interesting, because I like this one better than the one Jeff picked. So it's interesting. Yeah, we'll get into that. But it's I just love it when it's just something I hadn't heard before. Whereas with Jeff's pick, I've heard a lot of those songs, my whole life. So it's nice. I don't know, just something responds to me when I'm not that familiar with the music. But I think this guy's a great artist. It's like, how much? What does he play? He plays guitar, right, Adam?
Yeah.
And is he just main guitarist? Does he play other instruments? Is it a full, like, he has a band, or is it like a full band that's like regular, or is it just he works with a bunch of different artists?
Or like session guys, or?
Yeah, I think I know that he played in a lot of punk bands before this. He also is a trained opera singer.
Yeah,
wow.
I heard the punk, I heard the opera, I heard all that stuff. Yeah, it was really cool.
So is that his name, or is that the band's name?
The band's name. His name's Bartees Cox.
Oh, that is good band name.
I would just call the band. I would just be like, I'm Bartees Cox, everybody. You ready to rock? The cock is ready to rock. Are you ready?
Rock out with your cock out.
There you go. How about you, Jeff? How'd you feel about this album?
I gotta be somewhere in between you and Anthony. The first song I really liked. I like Heavy Heart. I think I like, he has a very good, strong, soothing voice, which I liked. I liked Mulholland Drive. I liked Wretched. And then what you said was your favorite song. That's where that's when I think the album for me started going down. And then I thought, it was like, I don't know, man, maybe about 4 or 5 songs where it just didn't do anything for me until it got near the end. There was like that really short interlude, and then it was followed up by Escape the Circus. And that I kind of liked. I mean, you definitely hear the talent there. With the song, I think when it comes to album, I don't know, everyone has something different that they're looking for. I like to look for like a hit. If I was an A&R guy, I think I would have a hard time trying to figure out what the radio play would be on this. I kind of feel that he hasn't reached his peak as a songwriter yet. I think there's another level that he goes to, but you can definitely see the talent. You can hear it in his voice. There's a very, very, again, very quality, soothing voice. And I just don't know what the material is going to be that's going to make him break out. Otherwise, you wind up being like the middle guy, you play during the day, during festivals, like what propels an artist like this to go to the next level? And it has to be, I think, in like the hit, the big song, and I haven't heard it from him yet.
Well, I also think there's something great about being an indie artist. There's so many artists that I like that, not everybody else likes. I mean, pretty much 90% of what Anthony listens to, it's like stuff that's not, and there's something great about that. It's great because it feels like it's more your artist than when you hear it on the loop, and I don't think anybody's like, what they used to be, just because of the way radio is different than it is now and the way that the, music services are. So I don't think anybody's going to be, there's only, what is it? Harry Styles. There's probably like 6 guys that are at that status. I think everybody else is kind of like this, where it's just like, they have a core base, and the guys. I think he's successful. Just
so, what does that mean for the future of music then? Like like a guy like okay, Bartees Strange comes to town. What kind of venue is he playing?
I mean, probably the Bowery.
I would say Bowery. I actually saw him. I saw him live at what was it? Governor's Ball, but he was like you said before, he was a early festival opener. I think he went on at noon. Yeah. So he has been touring with a lot of big names great. Too.
And you gotta put some good bands in the daytime. People are there.
Yeah, I don't think the venue or the time slot defines the band. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like
put you on the pecking order. Like tomorrow night. Friday night, I'm going to the stadium tour, and Joan Jett is playing at 4:30.
Who else is on the tour? Well,
after her, it's going to be Poison, followed by flip-flopping of Motley and Def Leppard.
I mean, unfortunately, Poison has a bigger fan base, So
right. So what makes Bartees Strange get a bigger fan base?
Well, I think it's through his. He's been touring a lot as an opener for Phoebe Bridgers and Courtney Barnett and Lucy Dacus. And I think through that, all those artists have become huge. So I think through that, he's been discovered a lot more. I know Heavy Heart's getting a lot of airplay now, and Cosigns also. So, and plus there's a lot of, there's Rolling Stone. Could
be the single.
Yeah.
If there was
I think so.
That could be it.
I would say that. Heavy Heart's probably the main single on this album. Wretched's getting a lot of play also. But there's just with the release of this album, there were so many interviews I saw with him on Rolling Stone, on NPR, on The Ringer, did a huge article on him about how he's probably the next big indie rock star. But I think he's getting a lot of recognition, getting a lot of play now.
Yeah, it's only 2 albums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's like, as a guy that has 2 albums and is basically a nooner spot opener guy, I can relate to this guy. so I don't want you to shit on the opener guy and then the noon slot guy.
I want to be the nooner opener guy right now.
I would be psyched to be the nooner guy.
So, yeah, but I don't know. There is something, I don't know. It's just something kind of great. Like I said, it's like I have bands like Love and Rockets or something like that. That's my band. They never got to like a huge level. There's certain bands that just, they just kind of stay yours, and I think there's something kind of great about that. And those guys are making money. It's not like, they're millionaires. I bet this guy's a millionaire. He's making money. It's like, it's not, in your face every day. You know what I mean? They're not playing it at Rite Aid. So you just don't think that he's, at this level of household name. But, I don't know. I think that's what's punk rock about it. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know. I think, fame is, depends. Like I said, Harry Styles and Justin Bieber, those are like NSYNC was at the Hollywood Bowl, it's like, or Backstreet Boys or something was like, and people went crazy. It's like, just because somebody's filling up a bowl doesn't make them great, So, I mean, that's,
it does.
It does. Big Backstreet Boys. No, Backstreet Boys. Are they great?
Yeah, they're great. I like them.
They're not great at all. They're good. They're good at what they do as a boy band.
At what they do.
Yeah, does it make them great? I mean, great music. Come on, man. Let's come on. You could do better than that. I'll give you Pat Benatar before Backstreet Boys.
No, they're fine.
They don't write the music. They got good voices. They had good dance moves in their day. That's what they were.
They're kind of like what the Monkees were, it just evolved. There was songwriters. I mean, the Monkees originally didn't even sing their own songs.
Yeah,
they had to fight for that.
But I think they
sang them. They couldn't play the instruments. Yeah, they always sang.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the Monkees, and then it's the Beatles. Who do you prefer? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So clear, it's the Monkees.
Right.
I like the Monkees.
Of course you do. You have a Spuds MacKenzie shirt on. Of course you're gonna love the Monkees. Anything kitsch, you're gonna love.
I think
we know what you're all about.
Shirt.
Pink shorts. We got you. We know what's up. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with someone too about sophomore albums, and we were trying to think of like, what was one of the best sophomore albums, and I think I came up with Nevermind. I felt like that was probably one of the greatest top 5, number 2 albums of all time. And I went and I listened to all, as I was drove from LA to Phoenix, I listened to all the Nirvana albums, and it was great. I actually enjoyed Bleach. I thought that was, a lot of people shit on it because it's kind of distorted and stuff, but I think it's, that's a great album as well. All 3 of those albums are fantastic, but but Teen Spirit is the one. And does that make it the best one? It makes it the most popular. I think they were tighter than from the first album, and they were definitely more radio friendly.
Yeah. My favorite is In Utero, but Nevermind is a great, and to keep with the Nirvana connection, The Color and the Shape by the Foo Fighters. Yeah. Probably their biggest, has some of their biggest songs of the entire career, And
that's the second album.
Second album, yeah.
How about Pinkerton?
Pinkerton.
We covered
love
it. Great
one of my favorite of all time.
It is a great album, but I still get mad at what's the lead singer's name? The guy that
Rivers.
wrote. I still get mad at him because he apologized for the album.
He was humiliated.
And then it became this great cult classic to all Weezer fans. And he's like, and now he plays the whole thing and full, and they make a whole thing. I'm like, shut up, dude.
You know what the problem was? I think with Pinkerton, Rivers didn't want to make funny music videos for any of the songs. And so none of those videos that they made got any airplay on MTV.
Well, The Good Life did pretty good.
I don't remember seeing it on MTV ever. I've seen the video since then, but that wasn't getting heavy play at the time. Not like Buddy Holly.
No, Buddy Holly was
Say It Ain't So. And that was
breaking video, man. With that Spike Jonze directed that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have any of that now. I don't think kids watch video. They watch TikTok, I don't think they watch videos like they used to be the greatest thing ever. Just when a new video would come out, it'd be such a thing. I remember when Thriller was coming out, it was like 3 weeks out. Yeah. It was like everybody was just like planning for it, and it was like an event.
Yeah.
And then like it came on at a certain time. You're like, okay, I got to get home. You know,
world premieres,
world premiere videos coming out, MTV 8:00. You know, Van Halen or whoever it was, and it was just like such a thing. Now there's none of that really.
Do you remember when Michael Jackson released Bad, and they did a primetime special on CBS for that to debut that video?
That's crazy.
That's how big it was.
Yeah, I mean that's that stuff that doesn't exist anymore really. I mean MTV doesn't even play videos really. They just play it's just people getting hit in the balls with a T-ball, a pad or something. It's ridiculous, man. Some reality.
You don't think 21 hours of ridiculousness is good?
I mean, I'm not going to say I don't laugh if I watch it once in a while, but I would prefer 120 minutes or something. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely, that was great. That show, remember that?
Headbangers Ball. They had some good stuff, man.
Loved it.
Matt Pinfield, he was the guy. If Matt Pinfield liked it, I was into it.
Yeah, he was great. Was that the bald dude?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was very cool. All right, cool. So let's switch it around a little bit. Let's go Anthony, and then we'll go Jeff and me. All right, Anthony, what did you pick for us here?
I picked an album by Death. The band's called Death, and the album is called For the Whole World to See. And this is an album that I didn't really listen to. I've heard about it for like 10 years, and I only recently listened to it. But this is an album that was recorded in 1975.
Wow.
That never came out. And the band broke up, a couple of years later, and the recordings were rediscovered around 2009. And a lot of people say that this was potentially the first punk rock album recorded. They were from Detroit, I think. And there's a documentary that was made about them. A Band Called Death is the name of the documentary. And I just think it's such a cool story. They recorded possibly the first punk rock album, and nobody cared for some reason. And then it gets rediscovered decades later, and then they reformed, and they put out some other stuff since then. But I thought it was cool. I thought it's a good listen. It's kind of garage rock, but leaning towards punk. I think. And I think they're all brothers too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it was, I guess, and a lot of punk in 76, right? I think a lot of big punk albums came out in 76. So they were definitely inspired. I mean, this all can come off in some sort of weird racial way, but there's nothing I love better than, black dudes playing instruments, playing guitar, and, just that kind of stuff. Is the whole band black dudes or? Yeah.
I think I think all three of one of them is dead now when they reformed, but this album, it's three brothers that they're all black.
Yeah, which is great. And that's why we're doing the June African American Appreciation Month. But I just feel like, Living Color, was like such a phenom. And it's like, it's just, I always get so angry when it's like everything has to be Drake and this and that. And it's like, it's just so cool when, black dudes play rock or punk or something that's hardcore with guitars.
Bad Brains was one of the best punk bands, because they really could play.
Yeah, it's a very few bands. It's very few punk, definitely punk, and very few rock bands where it's just it's usually something else or hip hop or something or blues or something. But it's definitely great when it's punk. I thought this album was pretty good. It was it felt a little Anthony for sure. Anthony doesn't disappoint. He stays on brand, and it's either a Dead Milkman vibe or if it's a speed metal vibe. It was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't listen. I only listened to it once. I didn't get to it a couple of times, but it was good driving music. But I mean, I want to seek this band out a little more. And how many albums do they have? Just one?
I think they have 3 or 4.
Okay.
So this one was recorded for, I forget which record label. They were recording for like a bigger label. These recordings, and then the album that they re-released after this was like demos. So it's like much more lo-fi. And then there was then there was a third one that I think was kind of less punk rock. It was more of their other kind of influences. And then I think they also recorded something more recently, which it was called like New. Maybe it was called New, or New is in the title. But this is the best. I did a little sampling of all the other ones. This one is the most punk rock, and it's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, punk is kind of it's a little vague because it's like, I mean, the Kinks I think would be considered punk in some ways, and that was a little earlier. So you know, I mean, I think maybe this was a little rawer sound, but I think the Kinks are probably, I don't know, that was like 60 something, 66 or 67. So you know, I mean, you know, everybody can, you know, but I think the traditional kind of where punk ended up, I think this would basically be, I guess, the first, you know, of that sound.
Yeah. I think people were talking mainly when they talk about this as being the first or one of the first. I think they're talking about like the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, the Clash, Buzzcocks, and all that. You know, I mean, there was the Sonics, there was the Kinks, there was all that kind of stuff that was
a lot of people said on the Kinks, but I think
the Kinks are great.
So influential as well.
When was this the first Stooges album? Was that before 75?
Maybe. Adam, can you look that up for us? Adam is our fact checker.
Weren't the Stooges also from Detroit?
Maybe. I don't know. I like
think you think of the MC5s.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Where were the Stooges from?
I wasn't a big Stooges fan. I you know, I'll talk about this album.
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, you know, what surprised me, I had to text Anthony at one point to find out if this was actually the album that he wanted us to listen to. Because
it's a little hard to find. Yeah.
Well, not only that, like when I listened to it, and I loved the first two songs. I loved Keep on Rockin' and Rock and Roll Victim. Okay. Loved them. Okay. I thought it was really good. I was like, holy shit. I actually like something Anthony picked that I never heard of with a dumb name,
rare.
by the way.
It's rare. It happens.
Yeah. I hate the name Death for a Band, but anyhow, they didn't sound black at all. I didn't, you know, but the more I listened to it, the more I picked up a Jimi Hendrix, you know, and then I looked, it's in the 70s. This album came out. I didn't know that. I never heard of them. So it reminded me of more like Hendrix, Thin Lizzy. Than like hard punk. Like the first couple of songs were more punky, but then you start to listen to like I like another song I like was Freaking Out. Was I thought really, really good song. And the thing is, if you didn't like these songs, they're not long, and there's only 7 songs on the album.
Yeah.
But you know, surprisingly, I liked it. Maybe the reason why they never hit. I mean, I don't know. It's a terrible name for a band. It's worse. It's worse than the name of the band that you're in right now. Okay.
Die Laughing.
Yeah, Die Laughing. I think COVID-19 would be a better name for the band.
Anything with death. You don't like death in a.
I don't like name. Death in the name of my band.
Tell him to shut up, Anthony. It's like you're in a band. All right, that's all that matters. You're a working musician. Who cares?
Yeah, but this wasn't a. But this was good. This was really good. Yeah. I'd like to find out more about them. It was interesting.
We should all. I haven't watched the documentary yet, but we should all watch it and talk about it on the show.
Wait, I didn't even know they had that. Why? I know nothing about these
that. Was
guys.
Part of the rediscovery after the stuff came out. The documentary came out, and that's why everybody was talking about.
I don't think we'll do the documentary, but
Anthony, I'm curious. Why did you pick out of all the black artists? Why did you pick them? Like how? What turned you on to them? I again. In my whole time in music, I doesn't even ring a bell. Why them?
I wanted to pick something that I was pretty sure none of you guys were going to pick, and I wanted to pick something that doesn't get talked about a lot. When we're doing something like this, like let's celebrate some black artists. I wanted to talk about it, you know, and the fact that people, even that it's part of the discussion that maybe they were doing punk before there was punk. I just thought it's such an interesting story. I mean, it's cool, but it's like kind of a bummer. Like they didn't really get to enjoy being part of, you know, the punk explosion the way a lot of other bands did. But it's like you know, the story and the fact that not everybody knows who they are.
Were they ever part of the New York scene? Did they play like Max's? They play like Bond? You know, they play Andy's places?
I'm not sure. How much they toured.
Yeah,
because this didn't even come out originally.
Yeah, that's why you're on the show, Anthony. If you weren't on the show, it would just be John Cougar Mellencamp.
And we'd have more listeners.
We'd be Pat Benatar.
That's right. We'd be listening to something good.
Bruce Springsteen. It'd just be the same.
Okay.
No, but this is good. It's but to get to the Ramones, like you got to get to this. You got to go. I love the building of music, and I think that's what's great. It's like I don't want to talk about just bands we all know. I think that's great. I think it's interesting because it's like you just get the exploration of music is I think it's important. It's important to hear stuff you've never heard before, even if you don't like it. That's fine. I think it's great. Like I like it when I go to a comedy club and I don't know any of the comics. It's like, especially in LA, that happens a lot. And I won't know. And then there'll be somebody really funny, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'd never heard. I wouldn't think. And then it's like, you get hooked onto something new as well as instead of just hearing the same old people, all the time, or the same bands or the same comics. I don't know. That's what we do on this show. We talk about bands that nobody's talking about. We're the only podcast in the history of the world that discuss death ever on a Wednesday.
Death and Bottles and James
on a streaming show on Twitch.
And Spud McKenzie.
Yeah, and Spud McKenzie and Alex Strohs that you guys are going to have to Google.
Right.
Adam, what did you think about this band? Well, seems like it's up your alley.
Yeah. Well, first off, with the Stooges, they were from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and their first album was in *69, the Stooges.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, there's your debate there a little bit. I think the Stooges are definitely punk. So
yeah.
And so with Death, I'd heard about the documentary. I always thought it was a fascinating story, and I didn't even listen to the album really until this week, and I thought it was great. It was great driving music. The punk, so some of the punk songs kind of reminded me of Gang of Four.
Okay. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is definitely a band up my alley, especially with the garage punk kind of sound.
Yeah, we'll all watch the documentary, and then we don't need to do it on the show. We'll just have a text chain about it.
Right.
And, all right, Jeff, you got a pretty popular dude. What's your pick this week?
I did. I didn't know if Anthony had listened to this, or I figured, and you had to, Dustin or Adam. This may have passed you by, but I picked Stevie Wonder's "Songs in the Key of Life" from 1976. I think it's one of the most, I think, first of all, I think Stevie Wonder is one of the biggest superstars in music, songwriters we've ever had, has ever lived. He's iconic, influenced guys like Michael Jackson all the way to Kanye. I thought it was interesting. The original working title of the album was called "Let's See Life the Way It Is." It's an album. This is a blend of funk and pop and jazz. And unlike some, the albums that you two guys spoke about, I mean, this was a big album. This was an anticipated album. Stevie Wonder used a lot of musicians on this one. There was over 130 musicians on him.
Wow.
A couple of the notables that you may have heard of was Herbie Hancock.
Nice.
He plays keyboards on one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite R&B songs called As. I'll get to that in a little bit. George Benson plays guitar on this. Minnie Riperton, the mother of Maya Rudolph, she sings background on this album. Wow. It's a great album. Iconic songs, songs like a song like I Wish. I love the fills on it. I love a song like Sir Duke, which is, which everyone knows, and it's an ode to the old time, jazz musicians, everyone who came before him. But it's not just that. The album did have some social commentary on it as well, almost paying like a homage to Marvin Gaye. Like in the spirit of Marvin Gaye, there's some social commentary, like Village Ghetto Land is kind of like a song about the pain and poverty and homelessness. And then he'll switch gears and just celebrate birth and family on "Isn't She Lovely," which, if you just hear that song, like, how do you not fall in love with it? It's just such a beautiful, beautiful song. And his voice is just killer. It's amazing. I think it's a long album. It's a double album. It's 21 songs. I think this could have been tightened. You didn't need, all 21 didn't necessarily have to make the cut. But like I said, it was an eagerly awaited album. It's one of only 3 albums that have debuted at the time at number 1. And think about it, when it does come out, it knocked out Peter Frampton Comes Alive off of the number 1 album of the time, and then stays on the charts for the rest of the year. And then it gets knocked out by one of Anthony's favorite bands, the Eagles, doing Hotel California at the beginning of 1977.
God. Another reason to hate them.
Yes. But I find this to be kind of interesting, and I find this interesting with the Beatles, because I've been listening to Rubber Soul a lot recently, and what's the other one? I think it's companion album, Revolver. Okay, yeah, I think they're kind of like companion albums, And when you hear a song like In My Life, and you just realize how young they were when they wrote that. When Stevie Wonder wrote this album, he's only 26 years old.
Wow.
Okay. Which to me is just freaking remarkable. And then when you look at it, how it stood the test of time, and you hear guys like Elton John and Prince, saying this was their favorite album of all time. I mean, I think that goes a long way. I remember having this album, and it came with like a song booklet. Like it had like all the lyrics with it, which was pretty cool for vinyl collectors. But I just wanted to close by talking about like probably my favorite song on this, song called As. Maybe people know it because it was covered by George Michael and Mary J. Blige. They covered this song, but it's very inspiring. And a lot of people, the lyric that everyone kind of remembers when he keeps going always, like love always, right? But it's not about what people think it is. People kind of get it mixed up with unconditional love for a partner. What he's really talking about in this song is he at one time felt a little jaded. He was having problems with the Motown label. At one time, he was even considering leaving Motown and was going to just stop doing music. And he goes to Ghana. And when he goes to Ghana, he's just like very impressed with the humanity, and is inspired by how people treated people and helped, the poor people of Ghana over there. And when he's talking about unconditional love, he's talking about unconditional love of humanity as opposed to like a woman. So I thought that was, so it's always been like, if you hear the song and you know a little bit more of the meaning of it, it's kind of like a really inspiring song. So I just always was a huge Stevie Wonder fan. And I think this and maybe, I don't know, there's a couple of them that I think are just 2 unbelievable albums. But this is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, it was great. We got to wrap it up soon, but I'm not a huge fan of Stevie Wonder. I feel he's a genius. I feel he's very important for music. I feel Superstition is one of my favorite songs of his, but this album, it really, it kicked in a little bit after Confusion and Sir Duke and If It's Magic. It started, and then, I don't know, man. I felt like I couldn't get into the slow songs on here. I feel like when I think of Stevie, I kind of want him to funk out. And so the stuff that was a little more upbeat, I enjoyed a little more. But I just, I know he's so important, but it's not, I don't listen to a lot of Stevie Wonder. And this album, I feel like it was really slow for me in the beginning. Like I really couldn't lose myself until Sir Duke, to be honest with you. I did like, Confusion's the instrumental one, right? Is that,
yeah, Confusion's a great song too.
Yeah, it's very instrumental and cool. And so, but
very funky.
Yeah, it's funky. I think I want my Stevie funky, I mean, Isn't She Lovely? It's not for me. It's like, it's popular and it's catchy, but it's just not something I'm into. I'm not going to crank up Isn't She Lovely? You know what I mean? But Superstition, I will bass that all the way down the street. Yeah. But Anthony, how'd you feel about this album?
I thought it was a masterpiece.
Nice.
I thought it was great. I've always liked Stevie Wonder, but I always kind of listen to collections, definitive collection, greatest hits or whatever. And so, I heard some of the songs on here before, and definitely the hits. Sir Duke has always been one of my favorite. but a lot of this I hadn't heard before, and I thought it was great. And it's funny, like the instrumental jazz song. I was listening to. I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of Herbie Hancock. And then I looked to see if Herbie Hancock played on the album, and he plays on a different song that doesn't sound anything like this. So I thought that was kind of.
Very cool. He plays on as.
Yeah, but
Very
not
cool.
on the song that reminded me of what Herbie Hancock does. But it's great. I mean, it has a little of everything, every kind of music.
Cool.
Here.
How about you, Adam?
I was mixed on it. So I think it's more about the kind of weighted historical expectations on it. I mean, this is an album that ends up in a lot of top 10 all time album lists, and so I kind of went into it with that in mind, and I think it was a bit of a letdown because that I think it was just since it's a double album, there's a lot of bloated songs on there, but I thought it was interesting hearing Pastime Paradise, because I didn't know that was the basically the inspiration for Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was so funny. I was like, oh wow, this is
right.
I mean, this is basically did like a Weird Al, and then Weird Al did a thing too,
right?
So, went all the way, and then Weird Al did Gangster and Amish Paradise.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. So yeah, no, Stevie's great. We don't have a lot of time for mine, but I picked Bob Marley and the Wailers, Rebel Music. This is a compilation album. But I feel like, it's talk about an important person in music. Bob Marley is, everything that is punk rock, is rock and roll, is like it was so great to hear, the sounds of reggae music. It was such an interesting way. I mean, Eric Clapton was very influenced by, what Bob Marley was doing. This is a really cool little thing. I'm going to read again. Sorry, guys. But the bright sounds often burn, but briefly. So it was with Robert Nesta Marley. 5 years after his untimely death at the age of 36, Bob Marley's music lives on as an enduring testament to a spirit that this world never tamed or conquered, to a man who rose from the humblest of origins to become a champion for the down-pressed everywhere. And this is a cool album. It's it's got the inside stuff, which I love, all the press clippings and whatnot, and it's like they got 36. Think about how much he could have given us after that. And a compilation album, I probably should have picked something that was one of his album, because this is stuff from like Natty, Catch a Fire, Dread, Live, and Rasta Man and stuff. I could have picked one of those albums, Exodus. But I own this album, so I like to pick from my collection as the heart of the show. But, it's got Get Up, Stand Up is one of my favorite songs. I feel like these are all freedom songs. And reggae is amazing because it puts you in such a groove, and Bob Marley mastered it. But at the same time, it's saying so much. So it's like such deep lyrical stuff that's happening in such a melodic groove. And a lot of reggae does sound the same, but I feel like, Bob Marley, had a voice that, Peter Tosh was a big influence to him, and they were kind of like working together and stuff. And to me, Peter Tosh is the king, and Bob Marley is definitely the prince of reggae music. And this is a cool stuff. Did you guys listen to the album? What'd you think, Adam?
Yeah, I thought a lot of, especially with reggae, like you said before, there's a lot of it that sounds similar, sounds the same, but it's still with Bob Marley. It's always fascinating though, even if some of it is, the subject matter at least changes a bit. I really liked Rat Race, Rebel Music, just, of course, Get Up, Stand Up. I thought this was a pretty good album.
Very cool. How about you, Jeff?
I listened to it too. I guess I was expecting a lot out of it, so a little disappointed. The songs that you picked out, Adam, are the songs that I liked as well. Rat Race, I did like Get Up, Stand Up. I don't know. I thought I would know more songs on it, and I didn't. I was driving today, and Rebel Music was on, and maybe catching it for a third time this week. It started to click with me a little bit more. I like reggae. Reggae music for me, like Anthony talked, I think, about your first album. You put it on in the background. I listen to Bob Marley. I think about being in vacation in Aruba or something, and it fits fine. In Staten Island, you know, it's not really the setting for it. But I mean, Bob Marley is like undeniable. You know, he's great. You know, I just think, you know, the songs I had heard previously stand out to me more. So this is maybe a little deeper album.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's like Legends, Bob Marley, that has like, every
Legends,
great Bob Marley song. This is a compilation album before that album came out. So this is kind of like the early days.
That's cool. You expose them to different, like, again, one of the cool things about doing and being on this show is I listened to 3 albums that if I wasn't forced to listen to it, I wouldn't have. And now I'm exposed to something else. So I think that's great.
Force is such a negative word. Do you enjoy this show at all? Jesus.
The thing is, if God forbid I don't get a chance to watch it, then I hear it for a week.
Have the opportunity to listen to albums I've never heard before.
You say Force.
Well, okay, yeah, Force is a strong word. Anthony, what do you think of old Bobby's album?
I liked it. To me, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, we're talking about how reggae sounds the same. You could say that about punk rock. You could say that about a lot of pop music. You could say it about country. You could say that about any kind of music. But it has like a pretty consistent vibe all throughout it. I didn't realize that it was a compilation until whichever the first live song. Yeah. I was like, oh, that I don't remember an audience on the other song. So maybe this is a compilation. But it didn't compile all of the hits, which I thought was kind of cool.
And that's what happens when an artist dies young. There ends up being so many compilation albums, you know, because people pull music from different things to make a new album come out, and you know, it becomes a lot of that. I mean, Jimi Hendrix has all these different ones, and you know, when these guys die young, it's like, you know, they still want to bring the music forward, but as you know, you're limited, so you have to, you know, be creative and like, you know, live concerts, you pull from different things. But I've seen a lot of live footage of Bob Marley, and it's phenomenal. I wish that's a time machine concert I would love to see Bob Marley live.
When did he die?
36.
No. What year?
What year? I don't know. And Adam, I don't know. Got it.
Yeah,
you could Google that if you wanted.
He was only 36 years old, huh?
Yeah.
I thought he was older.
Yeah. It was young. Cancer. I think it was brain cancer. And that was like a whole thing. They wanted to shave his dreads, and he didn't want him to shave his dreads, so he just died, I think, in the hospital. That's the story that I'm sticking to. But yeah, I tried to start Anthony. I tried to start a reggae band right out of high school. I did. me and my buddy Sam. We tried it, and it was horrible. But
were you gonna be the singer? What were you gonna play?
81, Dustin.
81. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. 81.
Yeah, we were both gonna sing, and we both tried to sing, and we were into I think it was like Burning Spear was a big reggae guy, and so we were kind of into Burning Spear and Peter Tosh and all. It was horrible. It made UB40 look like, you know, the greatest band of all time. But, so it was really bad. Very cool. Man. Well, thanks, guys. This was great. You know, definitely listen to you know, African American music, because it's what makes everything happen. There's a new Elvis movie coming out, and without black music, there would be no Elvis Presley. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Dustin's Vinyl. You guys rock. Follow us on our YouTube page, and we'll see you guys. Woo!
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Great show. There you go. That's enough.
That's enough.
We ran way over.
Right.
Take care.
Bye, guys.